Good morning and thank you for creating time for us this morning on News Check. 20 days into the fourth month of the year 2022 and the countdown to the August polls continues. Today we have just about 111 days to go and Kenyans will be making that big decision on who is going to be part and parcel of the leadership in the next 5 years. They'll be electing their leaders from the ward level to the member of parliament to the senators, the governors, the woman representative, and of course also the governors, the president, and I can go on and on about what is expected of Kenyans. But most importantly, there is a lot that is to be considered when it comes to what should inform that particular decision. That is why here on News Check we have dedicated a better part of our discussions to center around some of the issues emanating as Kenya gets closer to that general election, just to open up your mind so that you can make informed decisions come that particular day. And this morning we are going to be staying on that particular note as the first hour is dedicated on looking at Kenya's political journey. We assess the developments on the campaign trail. So recently we have seen talks now shift from the nominations to the running mate headache for the main contenders in this particular general election. It's going to form a very big part of our conversation this morning, coming just 2 days after we saw women, a section of women in the country coming out very strongly and making calls for those who are in this particular race to consider a woman running mate in case they want to clinch power. We are going to break down the journey and the history of women leadership in this particular country and why it is pivotal for us to begin thinking towards that particular direction. So I'll be having that conversation plus much more that has characterized the campaign trail in our country on News Check this morning. On the second hour, just before I let you in on my guest, we're also going to be talking about gender-based violence. I'll be having a panel of two, a lady who has quite an impactful story on how she survived gender-based violence and of course how she went ahead to pick up the pieces and move on. We'll be talking about GBV, the underreporting, delayed justice, and how this affects how we are managing this vice in our society. But let's get a little bit political in our first hour, and I'd like to introduce my guests on the panel this morning. I'm having a panel of two, a lady and a gentleman. I'll start with the gentleman because today seems like gentlemen are the minority. So let me start with the gentleman on set. His name is James Wambogo. James is a political analyst and a strategist. Thank you, James, for creating time for us.
It's a pleasure having us, and I'm grateful, at least for the first time on News Check, and I think at the end of the show we shall be able at least to digress on a few issues as far as our political terrain is concerned.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, James. Of course, we also have Beth Siengo. Beth is, at least I would say, a woman president. For now. She's the president of the ODM Women's League and of course now also playing a pivotal role in the Azimio Women League, of course, as well. Thank you so much for creating time for us, Beth, this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us, and I'm happy that I'm going to speak to Kenyans today and more so about women in leadership, inclusivity, and the part that women play in leadership.
Okay, thank you both of you once again. And I'd like us to start straight away on to our conversation. We are having this just at a time when just the other day the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission gave a directive that running mates, the names of the running mates are to be submitted before IEBC before Thursday 28th of April 2022, which means any person who has any ambition or desire to vie for presidency has less than 10 days to submit that name. But we've seen, the main contenders in this particular election are yet to make a decision or come out clearly on who is going to be the running mate. So I'd just like to begin from a general perspective. Let me start with you, James. Why is this such a big decision for whoever wants to be president?
Of course, thank you. Of course, it's a tall order for most political parties that we do have. Bearing in mind now, we are no longer on political parties. We are on the pathway of coalitions, and coalitions, as you can see, they are constituted of principles, and each principle is coming as an equal partner. So once you have like 3 or 4 people coming in as equal partners, that's now where you start thinking of as to how you can have a compromise candidate. That's why it becomes a bit of a tall order to automatically elect somebody or select somebody who can be a preferred candidate. But all that said and done, the other issues that also come at play, you'll talk of issues of capability and capacity. There is also the issue of what are you bringing as far as these coalitions are concerned, because when you talk as what you're bringing on the table, you're talking of issues of numbers. So, and you know, politics is an arrangement of numbers. So if you happen to select somebody who in one or another is not contributing to your vote basket, then you find that tendency that you're going to lose. And based on what we have experienced under the new constitution 2010, this time we have had a presidency where you have the president of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, not having a good relationship with the deputy president. So in this time, these people are carefully going to select as to who is the best person that they can work with, first in terms of submission. And you'll agree with me that most nations, African nations, you really know the deputy presidents of those particular countries. Mm-hmm. It's only in Kenya who people at least are much more conversant with the deputy president. Mm-hmm. So that tells you that you see, when you go through the books of 48 laws of power, you are told there's no way or there's no day that the neck will supersede the head. Mm-hmm. So I think this time around, all those candidates will not want to have or to be in a position or situation where the president and the deputy president were there before.
All right, thank you, James, for that opening remark. So it's not just about numbers this time around, it's about who are you going to have a good working relationship with. All right, so Beth, from your wing, the Azimio wing, which is having Raila Odinga as the preferred, a person for this particular position, the candidacy of presidency. Considering the factors that James has brought out, are we edging closer to hearing or getting an announcement of who is going to be the running mate of Raila?
Oh yes, within Azimio, actually we have a technical team that is working towards meeting every deadline, and I'm sure that we are more than ready to beat the deadline. We will submit the name of the running mate and all the candidates for every position.
Before Thursday, we will know, because that's what IEBC has stated.
Yeah, before they are given timelines, it will be done. We have a technical team that is working 24/7 to make sure that we meet every requirement. Yes.
All right. We hope to see that happen. But of course, there is a lot that has been put out there coming from the Kenya Kwanza also side. We are having quite a number of names that have been fronted to be the, people who are looked at as the potential running mates for Deputy President William Ruto. It's a coalition that brings together about 12 parties. And just to cite some names we have seen, scattered across, we have seen a proposal there for ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, Mathira MP Rigathi Gachagua, and Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro. These are just proposal and talks. We are yet to get clear confirmation on who exactly, it may even not be among this. But if you look at the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, let me just come back to you, James. Yeah. What are some of the, big issues that they could be facing when it comes to making this particular decision? What could be the some of the things they're trying to balance out, even looking at the names that I've just cited?
Yeah, so generally Kenya Kwanza has something to work on, and if just the way you have enlisted their candidates, the three or four things that I had reiterated there before, you're looking on issues of capabilities first and competence. So out of those people that we have listed, amongst them, who's much more competent than the other? On top of that, we're also talking on what are you bringing on the table. And there's also another aspect that has cropped up as far as our judicial system is concerned. Somebody may go to court and contest that a candidate X, Y, or Z does not or is not fit to occupy a certain position because of maybe graft issues or graft allegations. So those are things that they have to be careful as far as their technical team is concerned, because you will not want to select somebody and then you have a drawback from our court systems. And this time round, at least you are seeing each and every step that political parties are taking, they are careful, because you do not know whether tomorrow the High Court or the Court of Appeal may nullify the nominations or appointments that you have made. So they are jungles that UDA, or rather the Kenya Kwanza team, has to check out. If you look for maybe a classic example of if they were to select, let's say, who's this guy, Musalia Mudavadi. Remember, he had the deputy president had made a lot of inroads at Mount Kenya. So there are those demands that Mount Kenya want. There are also those demands that the Western people want. So in a nutshell, what the team, the technical team, will be having a hurdle is trying to balance in a way that the party or the coalition is not going to have a fallout, because the moment you please one, then you have a fallout on the other. So they have to be much more careful. I think, which is a tall order, not only at Kenya Kwanza but also at Azimio, because also at Azimio you have heard of Kalonzo making his demands. We have had Women League supporting Martha Karua. So these are those things that it's not just about fronting names. It's about assessing the nitty-gritties of what will help a particular candidate to clinch the seat.
All right. Yes. I'm coming to Azimio in just a bit, but just, to query on something. What if you were to offer free consultancy? What is likely to be the winning formula for Ruto, looking at the names that I've just cited? And he has to, do something about this.
I will not offer the deputy president free consultancy because I think he has so many consultants, of which are in his payroll, so I wouldn't offer free. But generally, just to give a highlight as to what they're supposed to factor in. First and foremost is numbers, because politics is about numbers. Number two, capability, because you will also want somebody who's going to help you at least achieve some visions. Let's say, for example, you have a vision, let's say like now they have the bottom-up economic model, isn't it? So somebody like Musalia Mudavadi, who they purport to be an economist, will be fit at least to help him on issues of economy. Because you have to align whatever vision and manifesto that you have to align with people who have the capacity and the technical know-how as to how they are going to implement the manifesto that you're fronting to the general public. So first and foremost, issues of competence. Secondly, numbers. Those are the key indicators that are going to guide him as to how to go about in electing a suitable candidate as a running mate. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Now, on to Azimio One Kenya coalition, which brings together about 20 political parties. We have ODM, Jubilee, Wiper, NARC Kenya, and KANU, just among these parties. There are some names that have also been, fronted as potential running mates. We've seen standing out very strongly is Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who has been categorical in public, saying that he actually desires the number 2 slot. NARC Kenya's Martha Karua, who joined the Azimio One Kenya Alliance, also is a name that has been fronted as a possible running mate. CS Peter Munya and former Gatanga MP Peter Kenneth, and I can go on and on about this. But what are the dynamics here? If you look at these names, what is it that is going to be the crucial thing that the Azimio One Kenya coalition is going to look at before settling on one person? It may even not be in this list. Let me, be realistic, but what is it that they're going to consider?
Thank you. Let me start by saying that we are in Azimio One Kenya Alliance. We are not short of people, and good people for that matter. And as you have read from the list, there could even be more out there. Yeah. But as Martin said, it is true that one factor to consider is the numbers. 2 is competency of people to be picked. And in Azimio, yes, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka has come out to request or to demand. But choices are to be made. Because when it comes to numbers, where do we look at? Is it Ukambani or is it Mount Kenya? Two, then the numbers of voters. I want to be very categorical here about women. For women, we have made a proposal and we are making a request that a woman is considered for this position. Yes.
This happened, was it 2 days ago, when we saw the Women League of Azimio come together and make that public request, let me say request. Why a woman and why Martha Karua?
Okay, a good question.
Yeah.
As Women League of Azimio, we came together and we made this request. It's because looking at Kenya, the Kenyan population, 52% is women. And actually the voters basket, 52% are women. And we know women are the ones who are willing to queue and even withstand hot sun and beat all the odds to make sure that they elect their leaders. And for that reason, we feel that a woman deputy president will be very good. Two, we have been talking about the two-thirds in this nation, and actually it has become elusive. Even in parliament, we know as it is unconstitutionally fit to be there because it doesn't have the two-thirds gender rule threshold. So we feel as women in Azimio, if a woman is given this position of deputy president, it will be very easy for women to say, yes, we can, and will come out to vote in large numbers. And in terms of representation, for real, we need 50-50 representation. We are not yet there, but we are working towards 50-50 representation of either gender.
I'm wondering how possible that is if we have not even attained the two-thirds. How is 50-50, attainable?
It is not rocket science. It can be done. If I may give my journey for 3 years as women president in ODM, I started about 4 years ago and made deliberate efforts to encourage women to come out to fight for all positions. And for real, women have come in large numbers than before, and they have offered themselves to be elected as MCAs, members of parliament, senate, governors, and we are trusting that the numbers will go up. However, it is a journey, and because it is a journey, our eyes are fixed on the ball. We really want to get to 50-50.
50-50.
Yes.
All right. So the other part of the question was, what makes Martha Karua a suitable candidate for this number 2 slot?
For me, Martha Karua has all it takes to be a deputy president. One, we know she is competent. From our experience, she has been a minister. She is a party leader. She has all the experience as a mother, as a leader, and as a woman for that matter. She qualifies to be a running mate. Mother has never been associated with the scandals of any form, and we feel she beats the bill. Yes.
All right. James, looking at a Raila Martha Karua ticket, is it sellable from where you sit?
First and foremost, let me just take you a bit back on the issues of women. I don't have anything personal against women, and in fact, I encourage them at least to come out and contest. Initially, we were clustered as women, youth, and people living with disability. The women found their way out, and they left the youth and people with disability. But that's a topic of another day.
Yeah.
But if we look at the aspect of women, I don't think we should maybe try to push Raila to select Martha Karua. A woman, for this case, let's try and isolate Martha Karua, because there can be other women, not necessarily Martha Karua. There is also Charity Ngilu, who is also a formidable candidate. People who have done some sterling jobs. You remember Charity Ngilu, who was at one particular time, I think it is 97, as she was contesting as a president. So Martha Karua also the same. So these are people who have been tested. For somebody like Martha Karua, you can see somebody who has been elected 4 times in a row as a member of parliament, Gishogo. Remember, he has been contesting against men for 4 times. I think if you can be able to secure a parliamentary slot for 4 times, that's like 20 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you can just be said that she's an extremely sensational leader. But what I'm against is that the fact that just because by the virtue that she's okay, she wants to be fronted as a deputy president. Remember, just look at the composition of our judiciary. We have number 1, who's a lady. Number 2 is also a lady, isn't it? So they got those positions by the virtue of merit, isn't it? Because for you to secure the position of a chief justice and a deputy CJ, it's not about being a man or a woman. And the best candidates gets the position out of meritocracy, isn't it? So what we need to do is that this thing that we have been calling about affirmative action, like we have a few women reps, there's people who you cannot even talk about what they have done for women in this particular case. So what we need to do, yes, we have Martha Karua, yes, we have Charity Ngilu, but apart from that, other than us saying that we need 50-50, because Martha Karua and Charity Ngilu have fought their way up, let also the other women fight their way up, so that at least we can say that all of us are being given an equal platform. But we should not be viewed in the sense that just because men are there, also women should be there. Let's get people who are competent. I think if we have a competent man, he can serve both men and women. If we have a competent woman, he can serve both, isn't it?
Right.
So let us look at the issue of what do we call it? Intellectual capital of a person.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that you've cited competency, and you have also gone ahead to cite the competency of Charity Ngilu and Martha Karua, a Raila Martha Karua ticket or a Raila Charity Ngilu ticket, is it sellable?
Yeah, for Raila Martha Karua is very much sellable by this fact. You see, we have to look at the demographics the way they are in Kenya, isn't it? And Kenya, we vote in our ethnic blocks, isn't it? So it was a bit hard for Honorable Raila to penetrate in Central, and they managed to penetrate to Central. Now I'm talking as an analyst, not as an Azimio follower. I'm talking as an analyst.
And that's
he
why
has
you're
managed,
here.
yes.
That's the title you wear.
Yes, but you see everybody, including the press, have their own political affiliations. So what we think is Raila has managed to scoop a bit of Mount Kenya votes, but with the coming of Martha Karua, you see there are some people in Mount Kenya who are a bit skeptical. They were a bit afraid of Raila, isn't it? But with the coming of the Iron Lady, it's like he has affirmed the solidarity of like Raila. The Kikuyus, or generally the Mount Kenya people, feel that there's somebody who can be able to who cannot be swayed left, right and center. There's somebody who's an Iron Lady who can stand by his word, and who can push things, especially the interest of that place that she comes from. And that is what Azimio really wanted, somebody who can affirm to them that Martha Karua or any other person can make sure that under the umbrella of Azimio, their interest can be factored. Yeah.
Okay. He has brought out something pivotal about, competency vis-a-vis because I'm a woman. And this has been a debate, not just here, but, severally there's been that question of, should we then just open up these spaces of leadership just because women need to be on board? Let's just have them on board anyway, whether they are competent or not. Has this worked to your disadvantage as women pushing this agenda?
It hasn't worked against us. And actually, let me comment here that a woman should not be elected or maybe appointed just because she's a woman, but should be a woman of substance, a woman of integrity, a woman who is capable. And for that reason, Women League have been going out building capacities of women. Actually, we developed a training manual to make sure that we go around, get the right women, build their capacities so that as they go out to contest, then they are refined and they are the right women to go for leadership. So for that reason, it is very important to consider competence. We know Mother Karua is a senior counsel in this nation. And those are some of the reasons why Women League feel that she is the right one. Yes, we have my sister Charity Ngilu. She is also capable. But for this reason, for regional balancing, that's why we feel Mother Karua from Mount Kenya would be the right choice for His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga.
Okay, I'll come to the question of regional balancing and the ethnic factor in choosing a running mate in just a bit, but let me just stay on that particular question. You know, if we have, and I want to believe we have, women who are competent and are qualified and skilled for different positions, not just even the presidency, they've been there, they have what it takes. Why do we still talk about women being marginalized, women not being given these chances, women not being present at the decision-making table? What is the problem? Is it society? Is it, you know, the women themselves? I'm just trying to find out where this problem could be emanating from.
I would look back to political parties. Actually, political parties should give women space and equal opportunities with men. Even within the government, women should be given equal opportunities. We have very capable women, competent, out there, even from the grassroots. But when they have no space, when they are not being given that chance, you may not know somebody's value until you bring them to the front. So if they are not given a chance, that's why they remain behind. And again, not forgetting that in Kenya, we live in a patriarchal society. And within the Women League, we have another program, because we noted all that we call He for She, where we want to identify male champions who can for real support women to get into leadership. And this is very key, to have men realize that women are able, women can make it, women are good leaders, and so they support them and allow them to get into leadership positions. That's why we can't get the two that, because men feel that leadership belongs to men, and maybe women also feel that we are not yet there. And so that's why we don't have more women in leadership. So we are appealing to Kenyans and to our dear men, who are our husbands, our brothers, our fathers, that they also consider women as leaders and give them opportunities, give them chance, give them space, so that we look at leadership, not the gender.
James, is what she's citing the strategy that will work for women, looking at our political terrain and how murky it is, and sometimes it is just survival for the fittest? Saying that women should be given these spaces, is it going to work? Is that a strategy that is going to work?
I think women have been given enough, ample and sufficient positions. Just to touch a bit on the corporate world, I think you have been visiting banks of late, isn't it? And you find, like, in the banks, you find in a branch of, let's say 50 people, there are only 10 men, 40 are women. So these are people who have been slowly and gradually making their spaces. And I'm not against that, because also women are a bit competent. That's why for somebody to be employed maybe in a banking sector, at least your degree of integrity has to be up. So they have slowly grasped some particular institutions, like the banking sector. I've mentioned to you the judiciary. You find there are almost 50-50 magistrates, almost 50-50 in the Court of Appeal. And these are statistics that you can check. You can see even the composition of Supreme Court. Out of 7, you have 3. You see that is almost even, it's above even the 2/3, isn't it? It's almost 60-40, because you have 3 and you have 4 men, isn't it? So I think women are slowly and gradually taking these positions without the position of men knowing. And it's just to alert the men. If you check at the composition, let's say, for example, for the nomination slots, let's say for the composition of, like, Senate, there are 20 nomination slots. I don't know if you know that out of the 20 nomination slots, 16 are supposed to be women. Now, out of the 16, you have a youth and the youth has to be one man and one woman. You also have another one. Those are 17, isn't it? Then you have somebody, a pair of persons with disability, who's an elderly man and an elderly woman. So how many women do we have at that particular level? Out of 20, 18 are women. 2 are the only one who are men. The same applies to National Assembly. You have 12 slots, isn't it? Out of that, maybe 2 or 3 are the ones who are going to be men. The rest are women. So I think even the Constitution and also the advancement of Kenyan politicians, we have accepted the leadership of women. There are those places that culture had also hindered women, especially in these parts of Northeastern. But as time goes by, and as education, education is we call the equalizer or the stabilizer, whereby at least all of you are taken through a process and you can be able to appreciate somebody's capabilities and skills. That's why at least any place that there has been good and sustainable education, at least you find women coming up at a very fast rate. Look even at our schools. These days you'll find that maybe in a class of 50 people, you find like 32 are girls, 28 are boys. So women have really embraced education, and I think we are not as bad as we are. I think we are almost getting
Beth, what do you think, though? He seems to be suggesting that this subject of women inclusion is not as elusive as you put it, that women have actually done quite well when it comes to inclusivity and being accepted as part and parcel of the leadership of this country. From where you sit, what do you feel as a woman?
I feel we are not yet there because...
Not enough?
Not enough. As I indicated from the beginning, it's a journey.
Okay.
I have said it is a journey. And again, we don't want women to hold second positions, or maybe the deputy or lower kind of positions. We really want women to be at the top. If we are talking of bank managers, we want them women. We are talking of those parastatals, we want to see women heading them. We want women to be at the decision-making table. And as I've said, it's a journey. We have seen even from the political parties' positions where women are given to be deputy chairman, deputy this, deputy that. Why can they be given that first position? That is what we are pushing for. And because it's a journey, we really appreciate the gains so far, but we want to retain the gains and get more.
And push further.
Yes.
Okay, I'm coming back to continue this conversation, but I just want us to listen into something. This is what was said at that meeting by the Azimio Women League concerning their request to have their candidate Raila Odinga consider a woman as the number 2. Let's just listen into what the Nyeri Deputy Governor, Honorable Caroline Karugu, and Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu said at this particular forum.
Article 3 that states that women are exposed to 50% of chances in this nation. So we are not demanding, we're just asking our candidate to refer to that article and be generous and kind enough. And because we know he's a man for women, he's a he for she, that he gives the deputy president role to the women of this republic, and women of this republic will forever be grateful to him.
Women issues are very different from other issues, and that's why we are appealing. Where you find men meeting, if you don't find woman's face, then you do not have proper representation of the nation. And this is representing half the nation.
That's Honorable Charity Ngilu, the Kitui County Governor, and also the Deputy Governor of Nyeri County. There earlier you saw her, Caroline Karugu, just requesting that the number 2 slot on the Azimio side should go to a woman. It's a request, they have underlined that, it's not a demand. But what if it's not granted? What is the likely consequence?
Well, if it is not considered, of course, we'll move on, because we are in Azimio, because we believe in the leadership. However, as she has said, and I'm repeating, it is a request. Because women are more.
If you don't
women are the voters. Women are more. We have the numbers.
But
my brother here said in politics we talk about numbers. And women in this nation, we are more. And we are asking for that representation. Actually, because we make the bulky or the big numbers, then we need that position so that we feel we are really represented at the topmost position in this country. So if a woman is given a deputy president position, I tell you, this will be an inspiration to the girl child. It will be a motivation for the women in this nation, and more so, it will also bring that uniqueness in leadership and in approaching issues and taking care of women matters. Right. Just as my governor said, I come from Kitui County, so Charity Gilu is my governor. Just as my governor said, women issues are unique. And it's only a woman who can understand what a woman goes through. Yes.
Okay, but if you say you have the numbers and a majority of voters are women, and you believe that you have the numbers, and both of you have agreed in this choice of a running mate, numbers play a very big role. How many people are you bringing on the table? Why not just go ahead and demand and say that it is this or the highway? If you believe you have what it takes, and you can actually bring the numbers.
We are kind of trying to preach peace. If it is on demand, then it is whether we get it or not, then this is the consequences. We don't want to get there because Kenya is a peaceful nation, women are peaceful people, and we want peace. So we are just making a request.
Okay, I know of someone who has made that demand, and that man is Kalonzo Musyoka. Until the last time I checked, he has stood his ground and said he wants the number 2 slot. It was actually part of the reasons why he agreed to support Raila Odinga one more time. James, what do you think about Kalonzo's, demand? Yeah.
First, I find it interesting. My sister is saying that women's needs are unique. The same applies as men's needs are unique. Because I think you are handling a show after this called the SGB.
Yeah, we are going to be talking about GBV.
Yeah, you have had men being battered.
Yeah, true.
They can never share with anyone.
Percentage.
They have their own.
Very small
percentage.
So let's check it this way. And first and foremost, for the kind of request that my sister is coming from, first and foremost, I have to congratulate Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. He's been known for a track record of supporting women.
Exactly.
You have had the issues of Pasaris. Pasaris has been nominated by ODM. You have had issues of like Rachel Shebesh before she went to Jubilee. It's Raila who brought her in politics. The likes of Margaret Wanjiru. So Raila has a track record of at least empowering women. So at least first and foremost, their demands are squarely placed. They are placed whereby people at least can hear. And if you look at the composition of Azimio, I think out of the 11 people, the council that they formed, I think we have 2 or 3 women there. So unlike the other side, you see, like Kenya Kwanza is like a barrage of high school boys. There is no even woman there.
Sure.
All of them are 14, all of them. You may think it's a high school of boys. So first and foremost, where they are placing their request that at least can be heard, and somebody who has a track record of empowering women. So coming to Kalonzo, first and foremost, the reason as to why he's making demands is just because of what I told you there before. Issues to do with numbers, and he has around 2.1 million, and out of the 2.1 million, you see with this kind of a contest, every vote counts. So, and there are logistics, and you see like, okay, who would want to sacrifice 2.1 million votes just go down the drain? So even as much as he's making his own demands, what we need to do is that the technical team that is responsible in checking out the best appropriate person who can be able at least to propel the agenda of Raila Odinga, that is what is going to count. Because on this side, we have the women who have the numbers. On this side, we have Kalonzo who also have numbers. So that which can be able to separate these 2 people, let's talk issues of capability and competence. Yes.
What if he is not, the preferred for this particular number 2 slot, and then What happens after that? Because from the background, from what we understand, even there was discord between these two gentlemen before when NASA, the marriage of NASA went sour.
Yeah.
But we saw that reunion of the brothers, and there was this condition that I'm supporting Raila one more time, and there were talks of that promise for the number 2 slot.
Yes.
And from what we've been, following, it seems like that was the condition why Kalonzo Musyoka decided to support Raila one more time, even after saying he's not going to do it. So what if he is not the preferred choice? What happens?
You see, this time around, with the passage of the political parties bill, the political parties amendments bill, initially you see they used to enter into some agreements in a way that let's say they were not legal, or they were not legal binding, isn't it? So you could not have presented such kind of a document in courts. And with this kind of the passage of this bill, whatever kind of agreements that you agree, it's going to be to be deposited with the register of political parties. So this time round, there's no that business whereby you just decide to bolt off. People at least know, and the agreement is clear that these are the roles that you are going to take as far as this coalition is concerned. And just to go a bit on issues to do with Kalonzo. Kalonzo said he's not negotiating with Honorable Raila Odinga. He said he's negotiating with President Uhuru Kenyatta. So, and President Uhuru Kenyatta is supporting Raila Amolo Odinga. So in one way or another, the president has been very instrumental in trying to bring these two together. And if they have been at one point together working, I don't see the reason as to why they cannot work together. In politics, we say there are no permanent friends and permanent enemies. So what will count is what is at stake at this particular time. There are those people who are going to make some compromise for the sake of this nation. Just it not to go through to the dogs.
Yeah. Just as you add on to that, I mean, what if there is a fallout?
Thank you. I would say that first of all, I start by appreciating my brother, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. He worked with His Excellency Raila in 2013. They worked together in 2017, and now they are together in 2022. But I would say the demand might not be placed at the right time, because those 2 times that they have worked together, they didn't make it. And they were together with the numbers that he feels that he has, but they didn't make it. So now we have gone ahead and meant, and God has granted us an opportunity to climb the mountain. Surely we should consider the mountain. Yes.
What if there is a fallout? I mean, are you ready as the Azimio One Kenya Alliance to risk losing 2.1 million? 2.1 million.
Yeah. I want to say that Kenya is bigger than any of us. I'm quoting some people said it before, that Kenya is bigger than any of us, and I would say that they should not fall out, because a fallout will make Kenya go the wrong way, and we don't want to get into chaos, we don't want to get into violence, we don't want to destroy Kenya. We want Kenya to be united. That's why even from the name, Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya Alliance, we really need that one Kenya. So my humble request to His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka is to remember the name, that One Kenya Alliance, Azimio la Umoja, means that we must have a united Kenya. So we don't want anybody driven by any desire whatsoever to sacrifice this unity of Kenyans. So we need the unity of Kenyans. We need Kenya united. Moving forward, Kenya must remain one.
There's something that I also wanted us to talk about, and it seems like it's a very big issue when it comes to the choice of a running mate, and this is climbing the mountain. And you have just said God has given you a chance to climb the mountain. Why is this important, James? The ethnic dynamics when it comes to the choice of a running mate. Seems like this is a very big issue on the table.
Yeah, for this time around, you'll appreciate that we do not have any, let's say, for example, good candidate as far as the mountain is concerned. The only two horses that have been defined is Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto. So, of which they all know the importance of having the Mount Kenya vote. And any of these people cannot risk to select somebody who's going to be different not from the mountain because of the numbers. Just as we had reiterated before, numbers are what that counts when it comes to politics. You see, like even Kenya, we have even segmented Kenya itself. We have dissected it to, we know the kind of even votes that somebody like Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is bringing on the table. He's bringing 2.1 million votes. People in Mount Kenya are talking of 6 million votes. So that's why the factor of the Mount Kenya is becoming a bit of a tough bone to crack. So it's something that I know it's giving them, both of them, sleepless nights, that in the event none of them decides to select somebody from Mount Kenya, then there might be a shift in terms of the voter patterns, voting to the other side. There will be some difference in voting patterns.
But even if you say 6+ million votes from the Mount Kenya region, whichever direction these main contenders decide to go, and even if they opt for a number 2 from the Mount Kenya region, they don't come with a solid 6 million votes, do they?
True, they don't. And this time around, there are also, as time goes by, the other factors that are going to be considered. First and foremost, just the way you're saying, 6 million votes, take it to the bank. The vote that will come from Mount Kenya, first, not like the way you saw for President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta up to 98%, or rather say above 90%. This time round, there will be a voter apathy. So you will expect somebody like a margin of around 65 to 70% is the one which is going to go to vote. And it has been evident with the UDA primaries. You saw just a sheer 10% is the one which participated for these nominations. So if you only have a section of only 10% coming to vote, that's just a reflection as to what you expect in the national day of polling, which is on August 8th. So the factor of 6 million votes this time around, people are not going to come close to that. And these are factors, even those people who are laying strategies, first and foremost, let them budget with 70%, because just as the UDA has been, the Kenya Kwanza UDA branch, which conducted some nominations, which at least they were fairly spread in Mount Kenya, only 10% showed up.
Let me say this. Actually, it's good that you have brought this angle of coming as a block. When we are talking of these numbers, when I look at also Kalonzo Musyoka, when he talks of 2.1, it doesn't mean that it will come as a block. Actually, looking the journey Azimio has gone, even when we were doing Azimio gatherings and rallies, remember that we had the 3 Ukambani governors with us, even before His Excellency Kalonzo joined us. We had Ngilu, we had Kibwana, we had Mutua. The 3 governors had come together and they are elected. They have their followers. They have their blocks also. So it doesn't mean that 2.1 is carried on the shoulders of Kalonzo alone. So I would say, as we look at the numbers, let's know that it will not come as totally together,
as it was
in one basket. So looking at Mount Kenya, yes, the 6+ million voters, yes, we are looking for a percentage that will make sure that we get to State House.
That is going to be a winning formula.
Yes.
There's something that is, concerns me, and I don't know whether it will concern you both as well. We saw the cracks that existed within the Jubilee Party, which was a dominant party in the Mount Kenya region for quite a while. And then these cracks graduated to a divorce. We saw the UDA party and the Jubilee party, there was the Tanga and Kieleweke went different directions, and that birthed whatever you saw in the political terrain. This, I want to believe, must have shaken the Mount Kenya base and the solid, voting bloc that probably went to the Jubilee party in 2017. So I mean, does it concern you that the United Democratic Alliance, to be specific, might have made quite a number of, gains in the Mount Kenya region? And does this, stand a chance to have any impact on the presidency and how people are going to vote in that region? Any of you can jump on this. Yeah. We are looking at UDA, we are looking at Jubilee in Mount Kenya. In 2017, it was a big percentage was Jubilee. I mean, are the dynamics likely to change this time around?
Let's reflect it this way. The deputy president has been campaigning for the last 1.5 years, and he managed to make some inroads, and not just inroads, but he managed to go, let's say, at the core of the mountain. But at that particular time, you see, we also had President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who's trying to make sure that he has accomplished his legacy. So he was trying to see which fire can I serve, because he cannot serve two fires. Do I finish my legacy and avoid politics, or do I play politics at the expense of my legacy? So first and foremost, what I think the president prioritized was the issue of his legacy, of which now you can see it is taking shape. And you have had over 12,000 kilometers of road, over 30 irrigation schemes coming up. You've heard of 6 million titles. These are things that if you decide to play politics or to engage politics, you will not have an achievement whereby 6 million Kenyans have been titled as of today, you see. So it is a choice. It was a deliberate choice as to what or which road that the president wanted to serve. And because he decided to serve the fire of development, at least we can see the kind of transformative agenda that he has been able to accomplish. But all that said and done, Jubilee, as it was propelled, or people were meant to understand, was that it's a dead party. And it surprised many, because there are even those people who had decided to form their own political parties to see if they can succeed, or to be the Mount Kenya spokespeople, the likes of Chama cha Kazi. But not knowing that Jubilee, at least it's coming back to its people with the things that it had been mandated or by the people to go and serve. If you see, let's say, for example, when Jubilee is going to Mount Kenya, it's saying these are the issues that you sent us to go and look for, and we have brought them. If you look at, let's say, for example, the Ken Omarwa Road under construction, the price of coffee have been revised to 120 shillings. The price of tea has been revised. The price of milk at around 40 shillings. These are things that initially they were not there. So, and gradually you can see the inroads that UDA had made. Remember, Raila is also coming from a background whereby for the last, I think, 20-30 years, the mountain did not accept him. So this is somebody who has been branded afresh, somebody whose messaging has been changed, somebody who, let's say, for example, his strategy has played a critical role to be accepted by the people of the mountain. And Azimio, you could never hear anything like Azimio in Nyeri, but today you can hear Azimio in Nyeri, you're hearing Azimio in Kirinyaga, you're hearing Azimio in all parts of Mount Kenya. And you can see, initially, Raila never used to go past Thika because the ground was hostile to him. But today, even as we have seen, he has never been taken even a single day by the president at Mount Kenya. And he's able to call, let's say, for example, you have seen meetings in Laikipia, Nanyuki, and you see masses and masses of people turning up or just showing up. So, as we can see, Jubilee has started gaining ground. And do not be surprised, in the next 3 months, don't be surprised that those people who are saying Mount Kenya is UDA, they shall be saying Mount Kenya is UDA, but the voters, the people they shall elect, they shall be Jubilee members of parliament.
There is that fear that, okay, at the top level, maybe Azimio may carry may carry the day, but then kwa ground vitu ni different. On these local seats, considering the inroads that UDA has made, things may just be different. Does that concern you, Beth?
Thank you. On this, I will start by thanking and appreciating His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the President of the Republic of Kenya. Because if you look at the founding spirit of Jubilee was to bring Kenya together. And he did his part at that time as they were serving with his deputy. However, somebody had a strategy to to divide the mountain. And that's why he started making inroads as early as immediately they got into office. And it was a political strategy for someone to make sure that he gains ground from the presidential ground, home backyard. But I would say that it was done wrongly because people cannot undermine their own leader. So as we know in Kenya, we are in ethnic groups, and it will be unfair to make sure somebody at home is not respected. However, I would say that the president has done very well to make sure that Jubilee is not dead, and Jubilee is the party to watch, because it has been rebranded and it is coming back very, very strongly. And I would say that getting to the mountain, for us, those in Azimio, and particularly under the leadership of His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, we really thank God that the handshake came, that again is uniting Kenyans, and that has given birth to Azimio, One Kenya Alliance. That's why I go back to my words. It is very important to have a united Kenya. Concerning the issue of getting at the top, the leadership of Azimio, and the ground is different. Mambo kwa ground ni tofauti.
Yeah.
I want to say, watching from the past experiences, I would say mountain goes the same direction. They will remain united. That's my prayer, the way they have been in the past. And they will speak in one language. Today, I want to borrow somebody's saying, and that was Governor Waiguru. You can rent a Kikuyu, but you cannot buy a Kikuyu. So I know for some time, because they were looking at the succession politics, and they didn't know who is to come next. But now I think they know.
All right. Thank you so much, lady, gentlemen, for creating time for us this morning. That's how we wrap it up. Perhaps 30 seconds for your final words. It's just 9 days, and the contenders are supposed to be, submitting the names of their running mates. What's the way forward as we close this conversation?
Let just it will be unfair for me that I've been called to represent as a political analyst at KBC, but I have not talked to people with disabilities. So let me talk of even these political parties that we do have, the way women are agitating for their positions as deputy president. Why also don't we have somebody who has a disability who will deputize any of those people, but out of merit, not out of just by the virtue he has a disability. So let's see and look, even in Kenya, the general Kenyans, let us interrogate people. Let's not be carried away by the euphoria of your political party. We would not want to have a chart come 9th August or 10th August that the kind of people that we elected are not up to the task. So let us interrogate, let us listen to their manifestos, and where you are not able to understand, call for experts to elaborate to you so that you can make a decisive decision come August 9th. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beth.
For me, this is my appeal that on 9th August, let's all come out in large numbers and vote for His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga to be the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya. My second appeal is that I'm making a fresh request, a woman to be considered by Azimio as the running mate to become the deputy president for the first time. Let's make history. Let's copy other countries. Even in Kenya, in United States of America, USA, we have Kamaris. Can we have a Kamaris moment in Kenya to have a woman deputy? Finally, women come out in large numbers, contest for different positions from MCA all the way to governors, and let's women support one another. We need a peaceful Kenya. Kenyans, let's remain peaceful. Choose the person we feel will all be safe in his hands. And that is none other than Raila Amolo Odinga.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Beth Siengo, the president of ODM Women's League. And of course, also I was having a sit down with James Wambogo, a political analyst and strategist. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time this morning.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right. So